Everything happens for a reason. You believe this. When you miss your flight and later avoid a disaster, when you lose a job and find a better one, when a relationship ends right before you meet someone new, your brain connects these dots and tells you the universe had a plan all along. That belief isn't giving you peace. It's trapping you in a story that makes you powerless. This isn't about faith or spirituality. This is about how your mind creates meaning where none exists. You've probably clung to this belief during hard times, told yourself the pain serves a purpose, that struggle builds character, that everything will make sense eventually. You wait for the reason to reveal itself. You search for the lesson in every setback. You scan your life for signs that you're on the right path. And when nothing makes sense, you just tell yourself you haven't seen the bigger picture yet. The waiting keeps you stuck. The searching keeps you from acting. The belief that everything unfolds according to some grand design steals your ability to shape your own life. This is called the teleological fallacy. Studies show humans naturally impose purpose and intention onto random events because pattern recognition helped our ancestors survive. Your brain evolved to see agency everywhere. A rustling bush meant a predator with intent to hunt you. A sudden illness meant you angered the spirits. Assuming everything had a reason kept you alert and alive. So your mind developed a built-in narrator that explains why things happen. It takes random chance and writes it into a meaningful story. Your brain thinks it's finding truth, but it's actually creating fiction that feels real. Here's how this plays out every single day. You apply for a job and don't get it. Instead of seeing it as one employer choosing another candidate for their specific reasons, your brain writes a story. You weren't meant to work there. Something better is coming. The universe is protecting you from a toxic workplace you never saw. You build an entire narrative around cosmic intervention. So you don't examine your interview skills. You don't improve your resume. You don't follow up or ask for feedback. You just wait for the something better that's supposedly coming. Months pass. You're still waiting. The story keeps you passive. Or your relationship falls apart. You don't look at communication patterns or compatibility issues. Your brain tells you this person was meant to teach you a lesson. They came into your life to show you what you don't want. Now you're ready for the real one. You frame the pain as necessary preparation, so you don't actually process what went wrong. You don't examine your part in the breakdown. You don't develop better relationship skills. You just move forward, assuming the universe will deliver the right person when you've learned enough. You repeat the same patterns with someone new because you never actually learned anything. You just told yourself a story about learning. And here's what nobody tells you about this. You're using this fallacy to avoid responsibility for outcomes you don't like. The fallacy doesn't just keep you passive, it makes you interpret everything through a lens of cosmic purpose. You get stuck in traffic and miss an important meeting. Your brain doesn't let you feel the frustration of bad timing. It immediately searches for the reason. Maybe you avoided an accident. Maybe someone at that meeting would have said something that hurt you. Maybe you needed this delay to slow down and reflect. You've transformed a random traffic jam into a meaningful intervention. This makes you miss the actual consequence. You were late. It damaged your credibility. You need to leave earlier next time or take a different route, but you can't learn that lesson because you're too busy finding cosmic meaning in chaos. You're stuck in a loop where every setback becomes proof of a larger plan. Every obstacle is reframed as redirection. Every loss is seen as protection. This means you never actually deal with reality. You deal with your interpretation of reality, filtered through. When something bad happens, instead of asking what you can control or change, you ask what it means. The meaning-making replaces the problem-solving. You're trapped in a cycle where the universe is always right, and you're always waiting for the next chapter to make sense of the current one. Your brain is running 10,000-year-old software on today's problems. Most people think this is about staying positive or having faith, so they defend the belief harder when challenged. But that's like defending a map that leads you in circles because you like the pretty drawings on it. The real issue isn't whether you stay hopeful. It's that you're replacing agency with narrative. You're choosing a comforting story over uncomfortable truth. The truth is that most things don't happen for a reason. they just happen. Then you create the reason afterward to make it bearable. This fallacy survives because purposelessness feels terrifying and purpose feels like control. Plus, admitting that life is largely random feels like admitting you're helpless. And if you stopped believing everything happens for a reason, you'd have to accept that bad things happen to good people for no reason at all. That pain doesn't always lead to growth. That some losses are just losses. Your brain would rather give you a false sense of cosmic order than let you sit with genuine uncertainty. But here's where it gets interesting. You're not finding purpose in events. You're assigning purpose to events after they happen. There's a massive difference. One is discovery. The other is creation. When you miss that flight and nothing bad happens, your brain retroactively decides you were saved. But if you'd caught the flight and nothing bad happened, your brain would have found a different story. You were meant to be on that flight to sit next to someone who changes your life, or to get home earlier for a reason you'll discover later. The story changes based on what happens, which means the story isn't revealing truth. It's justifying outcome. Once you see that you're writing the meaning instead of reading it, everything shifts. You're not powerless in a cosmic plan. You're the author, choosing which story to tell yourself. And if you're the author, you can choose a different kind of story, not one about destiny and reasons, one about choices and consequences, one where you have power. So, the next time something bad happens, and your brain immediately searches for the hidden reason it was meant to be, you'll know what's really happening. Your mind is trying to make randomness feel intentional. But now, you can pause. You can ask what you actually control here. What you can learn. What you can change. Not what it means in some grand design, but what you're going to do about it right now. That shift moves you from passive to active, from waiting for purpose to creating it yourself. You started this video believing everything happens for a reason. Now you know you're the one creating those reasons after the fact. That's not a small shift. That's taking your power back from a story. Understanding this fallacy is just the beginning. There's another one that's even more powerful, and most people never see it coming. Watch this next video to learn the bias that's even more dangerous than this one.